At that time, I was intoxicated with the fact that I was making it. I had made it. I don't judge people, is the biggest thing. And that doesn't mean that I'm saintly or I'm something. I have sense of jealousy, I have sense of negativity. Kashmir file is the prime example of how everybody, a section of people said, ye jhoot hai. It's also a economic triumph. People of Kashmir, of Kashmiri Hindus, took 32 years for the world to make them introduced to that tragedy.
So thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking to us.
Of course.
That you've done over 534 films. And as you sit here today, do you remember the first film? How did you land your first film?
Of course I remember. At least the first 5 years of my life in movies very clearly. The first film I shot was a film called Apman by Ami Asthana. I got 500 rupees for 2 days of work. That was the first film I shot in Mumbai for. But my first release film was obviously Saransh. I remember when I went to see Apman in a theatre in Goregaon East or Goregaon West, I think, me and my brother, I fainted for some strange reasons. My brother said, "Tu bardasht nahi kar saka apni buri acting ko."
Back in the day, please correct me if I'm wrong, we hear that you had to shoot more than one film a day. You were moving from one location to the other, right?
I did four shootings in one day.
It's 4 different films.
Yeah.
And today it's one film a day or
Right.
one film for months that you only concentrate on. So when you look back at that and you look back and you look at your career today and look at how the industry is functioning today, which one do you think is really working for you?
No, I think at that time I was intoxicated with the fact that I was making it. I had made it. I had an experience of years of being an actor. The only thing I had to tell my mind that it's okay, you can do films which you can do roles which you do not believe in, because in theatre, when you're a trained actor, you are trained to sort of ask for logic. And the film that I did was did not have logic. And yet I realized that you convince 1.2 billion people. So I personally feel our actors are the best actors in the world because we do most unconvincing things convincingly. And the biggest example was when I told myself, that was Mr. Bachchan, when I saw a film called, I think it was Coolie, where he was in a railway station and there were two things going on a radio. One was how to make an omelette and how to do yoga. And he was doing two things with great conviction. So that shift was a little difficult. But once I made it, I was doing a sadhu in the morning, I was doing a chachaji in the evening, I was playing a villain in the afternoon, I was doing something else. But there was the main difference of both the things. Now we are more organized, it's better to do one script at a time. But the magic of that time was there was no mobile, there were no vanity vans, there were not 7 people on the sets of one person, actor, manager, agent, social media manager, PR, bodyguards. People were finishing their shot and then sitting under a tree and chatting. So sometimes I miss that. That's why we are best of friends with the people that we worked pre-mobile era. Whether it is Sunny, whether it's Jackie, Anil, Mithunji, we've really spent time in knowing each other. आज ये लग होता है कभी कभी कि शॉट खत्म होता है तो हम सब लोग अपने अपने, इंक्लूडिंग मी, हम सब लोग अपनी अपनी वैन में चले जाते हैं. बट उसके फ़ायदे अलग से ये भी हैं कि कम्युनिकेशन इज़ ईजी. सो एनी टेक्नोलॉजी, एनी advancement or modernization has its plus and minus points.
So that is something I was going to talk to you about. You yourself brought it up, how there are a lot of friends that you have before the mobile era. So how do you perceive relationships today in the industry?
I love people. I think because I don't judge them. When you don't judge people, the loving happens easily. And also that has a lot to do with coming from a small town. Small town people are very, very earthy, very, very warm, very, very innocent to some. I still have sense of wonder about life. I don't judge people is the biggest thing. And that doesn't mean that I'm saintly or I'm something. I have sense of jealousy, I have sense of negativity, I have sense of, but at the end of it, I forget easily. I have younger generation, I have best friends. I am equally comfortable talking to Varun Dhawan or to Tiger Shroff or to Kartik Aaryan or to Aditya Roy Kapoor but my friends are Anil and Satish and Jackie and Akshay or something like that, because we've spent time together. I have not worked with so many younger actors, but I never make them feel that now they are working with a veteran. It's not. I don't carry the burden of being Anupam Kher with me at all. I start from scratch.
Talking about films, sometimes nowadays we see when films are being made, there are a lot of polarized opinions that people give. But do you think that hinders the process of filmmaking or the way a director, the actors want to tell the story?
I don't think, first of all, the polarization is only in industry. We live in a situation, the more information will come, the more knowledge will come about things, the more there will be different opinions. News पहले एक चैनल होता था, आज 50 न्यूज़ चैनल्स हैं. फ़ोन पे आपके हर इन्फॉर्मेशन आती है. There is a WhatsApp university which sort of gives you so much of information about it. Industry has changed, of course, but it has changed. We also have togetherness when we need. बाकी तो अभी ज़रूरी है सोशल मीडिया पर, जहाँ पर हर आदमी के पास ओपिनियन है. पहले मंडे को रिव्यूज़ आते थे या संडे को रिव्यूज़ आते थे, तो आपको पता था कि फ्राइडे सैटरडे तो यार कोई बुराई नहीं करेगा. अभी तो 5 मिनट में SMS चला जाता है, बकवास फिल्म है, बड़ी स्लो फिल्म है, शुरुआत में क्या हो गया है. वी हैव टू सर्वाइव, व्हाई नॉट?
Absolutely.
Why shouldn't be there opposition? Why shouldn't be there diverse views? There should be. It's very healthy to have diverse views.
Yeah, so talking about diverse views, your film Kashmir Files was in the reminder list for Oscars, even though there was divided opinion on the film. How did that make you feel, sir?
It made me feel great. Apart from the theme of the film, apart from the truth of the film, it's also a economic triumph. It's a case study that a 17 crore film or 15 crore film makes 350 crores. People try to sort of push that fact under the rug. But it's a great feeling to be associated with. यहाँ 25 करोड़ 50 करोड़ किसी के फिल्म के बन जाते हैं, लोग start tom-tomming it. But also, apart from that, the tragedy of people of Kashmir, of Kashmiri Hindus, took 32 years for the world to make them introduced to that tragedy. So that was important. You can't heal those wounds, but at least when people get to know that हमारी कहानी कोई जानता है, तो at least एक satisfaction होती है कि we are not lying about it.
Recently, a film was just released and did really well at the box office. People were offended or sensitive to the color of the clothes and the songs, etc. And people said, let's not watch this film. I won't use the term because I'm not a fan of that term. What are your opinions about that as an actor, as someone who's a part of the industry?
See, opinions are for everybody. And they have right to pass opinions on anything. You mean to say the Kashmir Files did not get opinions? Till the jury of the head of the jury spoke about it. Means he really misused his position. Let's not sort of say that this is a hurt party and this is not a hurt party. We are in a world where if your job is good, if your cinema is good, if your film is good, no power can stop you from anybody going and watching the film. But Kashmir File is the prime example of how a section of people said, ये झूठ है. Even the chief minister in the Vidhan Sabha of Delhi said, इसको YouTube पे डाल दो. Minister said something else. The ex-chief minister said something else. People kept talking about it. But truth has the power to shine. And truth is not necessarily about the truth itself, is the story. Story, truthfully said, cannot go wrong.
So one last question before we go. I would love to take you back if you can recall one fan moment that has been the most memorable for you as an actor.
I was very touched by an incident in my life. I think 18, 17 years back, I had gone to Bangalore invited by somebody to be the chief guest. And it was a youngish 40-ish, 38, 40-year-old man who said, please come and this foundation festival. Our foundation was called Hope Foundation. And he came to pick me up. I said, why? You could have sent the driver. He said, no, I want to drive with you. And then I said, so why did you call this Hope Foundation? And he started narrating the story. He said, about 15, 18 years back, early morning when I was coming to Bangalore, it was pouring. and our auto rickshaw got spoiled. So we were on this Andheri bridge and asking for somebody to take us drop because we had to reach the airport. And finally a small car came and a gentleman walked out of the car and he said, where do you have to go? He said, we have to go to the airport. And he said, come and sit, I'll drop you. And we said, they said, we are wet. He said, okay, it's okay. And then he dropped us to the airport and he said, do you want me to wait because you may have missed your flight? And we said, no. And that gentleman was you, sir. My father used to say, the easiest thing in the world is to make somebody happy. And I just try to do that. That doesn't mean that I have not hurt people. I'm sure I've hurt people knowingly, unknowingly. But I try my level best to sort of give some kind of happiness if I can. So that really shook me. I started crying that day.
Thank you so much for this conversation, Joy.
Thank you.